Welcome to Loud and Unscripted, the podcast where authenticity meets growth. I'm Katie.
And I'm Thalia. Join us as we fearlessly dive into the dynamic world of relationships,
Untangle family dramas, and empower women with a growth mindset.
no scripts.
Just real conversations.
Hello and
Hi. Welcome to the first episode
of Loud and Unscripted. And today we're going to dive right in.
We're gonna dive right into the juicy shit, which is toxic
Yes.
relationships.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we have both gone from toxic to healthy love, all the lessons in between, and also all the craziness in between.
Ooh, yeah.
Because there's been a lot of crazy that we've had to overcome.
Yeah. Especially like our crazy antics. I will take responsibility now that I am an adult. Yes, maybe I got a little crazy, but I'm just gonna say it wasn't my fault.
Oh man, we're starting there already.
Yeah,
it wasn't my fault already.
I didn't start it.
Okay, toxic guys. Now we're talking about healthy love.
Well, the healthy love came after. I feel like your most toxic relationship, everyone says your healthiest love comes after.
Right.
Take Kourtney Kardashian. She was with Scott Disick for how many years?
Oh my god, for years and
now
3 babies.
Now she's like, so healthy, so in love.
Yes.
And I'm like, I feel you. I felt that.
Right. And I love to see her happy like that.
Yeah, because we all were all there to witness, and like, it was triggering because you were living your own shit. You're like, wow, that's me too. And then
But at the same time, judging like, how the hell
Like,
she gonna let her man do that?
whole
Meanwhile,
time we stayed and let our man do. Well, not my man. I don't claim that. I don't claim.
we're not gonna say
anybody
my man.
before.
Whoa.
That was
No.
experiment 626.
Oh my god. No, but seriously, toxic love will have you looking in the mirror and being like, who's that bitch? Wait a second.
Yeah, no,
You literally
seriously.
cannot recognize yourself
Yeah,
when you're in a toxic love.
yeah,
You do things you would never do. You act in ways that you would never act in. And it just like really takes you out of your true character and your
Yeah.
true self. But we've all been there.
yeah. So it's no
Okay.
judgment. It's
No
just,
judgment.
It's just laugh about it now, but also hold it, like, you know, keep it near and dear to you so that you don't repeat those
Right.
steps, because
That part, because you know what? It is so easy. We are creatures of habit.
yeah,
To continue that cycle.
Yep.
You're like, okay, this is what I know, so this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and then you will see people.
I feel. Oh my god, I'm sorry, finish because I'm already laughing at what you're leading into.
Oh, no, I just feel like you'll see people like 30, 40, I'm 30, but 30, 40, 50 years old.
No, still acting a mess.
Yes,
Truly.
still in that toxic cycle, because it is easier. It
Like,
truly is easier to stay in the known. Because when I got into like a healthy love,
That's why I'm laughing, because we have a similar story where we
Right.
So the boys, we call them like the calm to our storms. Like, we're Latinas, so naturally there's a stereotype that we're crazier. But is it really a stereotype?
are we crazy, or did people make us
Or
crazy?
was I right? Or was I just damaged? My bad. But
Not every time.
But we both bonded over the fact that we both had a moment where we turned up and they turned it down. They were like, "What is wrong with you?" And you were like, "Oh, that's not what we're doing. We're not. We're podcasting. Like we're not getting crazy." And like, I remember Marwan being like, "Why are you acting like that?" And I was like, "Well, that's a very good question."
Let me go back and think about it. Which is, oh my god, that's so good. It's such a good little
Place to
segue.
start.
Yes, because yeah, there's a journey from, like I mentioned, toxic to healthy. But let's start at the toxic. What has been one of the, or if not the most, crazy / toxic thing you've ever done in a relationship? And she laughs, so it gotta be crazy.
I laugh because this is I think I admitted it to my friends, but to the person who I did this to, I didn't tell him the full truth of how I found out, whatever. So basically, in my last relationship, when it was ending, we were, you pretend that you're working on it after you break up because you guys are just having a hard time letting go. And he had dubbed me for a day that we were gonna hang out, and just, women's intuition, maybe my ancestors whispering to me like, he lying. So, FBI agent hacked into the email to see.
Did you guys hear that? She said she hacked.
I got into his email, and you want to do that on private mode so they don't see your location.
Now you're giving
but-
tips.
around because I don't have to, because he is a normal man. But anyways.
And now she's a normal woman.
And now I'm normal. But when I was 24, I got into the email and I saw a transaction. Like, he sent some girl money and he put the cab emoji. Like, you're just telling yourself. So I was like, oh, you sent some bitch cab money on the day that we were supposed to hang out. So that was the whole thing, and I flipped out on him. And then after that, it was just like, oh, I ended up also hitting her up, which a mess. Don't ever, ladies, don't try to like come to anyone woman to woman, because if she's gonna play with your man, she don't care. She's gonna lie to you the way he lied to you. Like, so don't even think that you're gonna get that. So just like, if you have to do that, you already know it's a dub. Like, it's a dub. So basically, in conclusion, I was just like, okay, like I saw your transaction. Like, you didn't do a good job at covering it up. I didn't tell him that I hacked in, but here we are, 3 years later. It doesn't matter now. So
right, but she still hacked into someone's email. Oh man, crazy or necessary?
Or Puerto Rican?
Or both. Who knows? No, we've all been crazy.
Wait! You're not just gonna make me look crazy. What was your crazy?
Oh my God, there's too many to choose from. But
Katie.
You think I'm lying? I'm so serious. But let's see. What comes to mind? Oh my God, I don't even know. Okay, maybe. I think I didn't at the time. I'm just gonna start here. I didn't at the time think that going through someone's phone was crazy, because society does normalize that.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, SZA even has a song. Is it SZA? No, Cardi B.
I was through your phone last night. Yeah, that was crazy.
You know, like, it's so normalized. So at the time, my heart was still palpitating. Like, holy shit, what if he wakes up? What if he wakes up?
Wow, you're bold. I would never do it if he's next to me. That's crazy.
Oh man. Well, you know, we live together and stuff. But yeah, that to me was crazy, because I knew that at that point in my life, if I was doing that, it's because there was something that wasn't secure. Like, I was in something that wasn't secure. And when I compare that now to the beautiful relationship I'm in now, I have never, from the day that we started dating to now, I've never felt this like inkling to go through his phone. Never. I never thought like, oh my God, I want to see what he's doing. If I did feel that way, it was because those past insecurities were coming up. Like, I have PTSD from those prior relationships, which we'll get into, but I never felt it because of any actions he did. It wasn't like he gave me these feelings. It was something that I had to work on, where that healing came in. But yeah, if you're going through someone's phone, trust me, that's already a sign that something ain't right.
Yeah, if you can't be on, just ask them up front, like, what the fuck is this? Then you need to like dig deep and be like, is it me or is it you? Like, what is the reason? You need to sit with yourself. Right.
And with that, I think a really good question to ask you is like, what did toxic love look like for you? Like, I think it looks like different for everyone, right? You hear people, I talk to some of my girlfriends and they're like super unhappy in a relationship and they stay, and you hear the toxic, but it sounds different in every relationship. And it also, like what you were about to say, it sounds different after the fact. Yeah. Things that you wouldn't have thought were toxic in the moment, now you look back and you're like, shit, that was toxic as hell. Yeah, no, for sure. You don't see it that way. And even when you're complaining about your partner, you think you're just venting, but your friends are like holding on to it. And because I was in these toxic relationships, I was always like, no judgment. But then now that I'm in a healthier relationship, when I hear it, I'm just like, leave that man. I'm just like, I get so impatient, but I'm just like, it's because I know the troubles you're feeling, and it's like, it's not fun. And I always told myself, like, I'm never gonna give up on love. One, I'm never gonna let anybody make me decide that love isn't real. But two, I'm not gonna end up in a marriage, in a love, in anything that just like doesn't feel right. Yeah. So seeing other people, like you said, there are people who repeat these habits 30, 40, 50. Like, aren't you tired by 50? Aren't you tired of the same shit? Like, I would freak out about that. And I would think to myself, especially with my ex, like, this cannot be the rest of my life. Either we gotta fix this or we shouldn't be together. But I really sucked at breaking up with people. I'm a lover girl, so I was just like, well, he's gonna have to do it, which he did. But in the end, I had the last word, so that's fine. Always gotta come out. Spice.
Always gotta come out somewhere. But yeah.
So what did it look like?
Oh, what did it look like?
Yeah, what?
Before I jumped the gun to.
I'm ready. I'm ready for those. Don't worry.
What did it look like?
Yeah,
what
like for you.
What did it look like?
Like in terms of your feelings, in terms of when you look back and you say, "Wow," in that moment, like what would you have said to your maybe 21-year-old self who was in that moment feeling maybe insecure or maybe wanting to go hack the email?
What it looked like was any female could get under my skin, and it was, but you know what it really was? It wasn't that any female could get under my skin. It's that I know any bitch could have you, because that's just how certain men function. Like they can have
you for the streets.
I'm gonna get a little raunchy right now, but like pussy runs their life. Like it could be pussy in a heartbeat. It doesn't even matter the kind of person. Like and that shit is weird. Like you're not a man if you just like run to anything with a vagina, because that runs your life. Real men are able to have some self-control.
Yeah.
They have discipline, aka my man. So, like, he is very disciplined. He has morals. He has values. Like, there are other men who just think that the P is the power, and yes, we have the power, but
it can't run.
It can't run you while you're in a relationship. Like that. Just don't be with me. Like, really, please just leave me alone.
Okay, so that's how he made you. That's what he was doing, and what did that make you feel in turn?
In turn, it just made me feel like inadequate, like not sexy enough. I just wasn't enough. Like, and so then I also ended up carrying that too, like into my next relationships. Like, of course, this will happen to me, and I feel like lessons occur when you know, like when you don't finish closing out that lesson. Yeah, it comes back
until you learn it.
So in my next relationship, things are fine and dandy, and why my boyfriend Marwan ends up in a party with some girl who was part of an issue from the past. So I was like, and I used to be like at the time I was fine with him going to a party without me, whatever, because it was Marwan. It was a new relationship. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But then to hear that this girl was at the same party, like, how the fuck do you end up at the same party with my new boyfriend? You guys didn't even cross paths or lives.
Yeah.
So it literally was just a moment of like, you need to figure out this part. You need to heal this part of you, because it's never going to
bothering you so much.
Yeah, and like he is not going to treat her the way your ex treated this girl. It's not going to be like that. And I literally called him when one of my friends was like, yo, this person at this party. I called him and I was like, stay on the other side of the room. Like, do not go next to her. I'm triggered by this person.
Trying to control it.
Yeah, and he was just like, oh, I was just telling them about like, we went to Puerto Rico together. Like, and I was like, oh.
Guys, if you knew Marwan, this story would be even funnier, okay? Even funnier.
I felt bad. So yeah, it looks just like insecure, like any girl can have my guy. But like with Marwan, I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Anymore. Like before, obviously you bring it into the relationship, but like I said, the first sort of spat we had, he was just like, huh? And I was like, oh, that's not what's going on? Like, so it became better and easier to communicate my feelings because my emotions felt safe. I wasn't battled.
Safety. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had a question for me. What was it? We can move on. I have one for you.
Oh, no, okay. No, because you just asked me two questions. I want to bring up the fact, you haven't brought up the fact that we were married. That is a whole different scope, because I'm still waiting for my first ring.
I would suggest 2, okay, before 30, but here I am. Before 30, I like to say that before 30, I got married, divorced, and found the love of my life. All before 30, which is
wonderful.
That's freaking awesome. At least I get to go into my new decade, you know, with something that I know is true.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? How was it?
No, I actually wanted to ask, since like, you know, now you're divorced, do you feel like, was it a mistake?
My marriage?
Yeah.
Okay. I think if the unhealed part, because I'm very honest about the fact that there's still a lot of healing that has to be done. The unhealed part of me is going to tell you absolutely 100% a mistake. However, I've done a lot of healing, and the healed part says everything happens for a reason, and I would not appreciate the place that I'm in right now if it hadn't been for that divorce.
Yes, I agree with that. That's
it
how
literally
I feel
took
about
me
my toxic relationships too.
Yeah,
without that, you don't appreciate.
Like, in a weird sense, I'm really grateful for it. I learned so much about myself, not only just in marriage, but post, where I was like, wait, like what I learned about myself is like, I can love really, really hard, and there's nothing wrong with the way that I love, which was that's a whole other episode we could get into, because what you were describing, I felt that in my entire relationship. Like from the inception when I was 20 to almost 28 years old, where I was feeling like, which is basically all my 20s, where in that relationship I felt inadequate. Yeah. I felt like I wasn't enough. I used that term, that little term or that phrase a lot. I'm not enough. I didn't feel sexy enough. I never felt pretty enough. I didn't feel like I was funny enough. I felt annoying. Like a lot of these negative attributes was placed on me in that relationship. And I'm not here to bash anyone, so I don't know why those feelings were there, but I just know that him and I, we weren't a match. And I think that that's really important to note, because what happens is, because this happened to me, so maybe this has happened to you if you're listening. When him and I, separated, I blamed everything on me. I was like, what? Oh, I'm not enough. It's because I'm this. And I remember trying to wrap my head around, but why? Because in my mind, I gave him everything. I did everything. I'm like, everything that I could possibly do, I did for you. So why not? And I blamed it on myself. Like maybe I didn't do enough. And quickly I realized like, no, I was always enough. Through the healing, I did therapy, a lot of journaling, reading, and all that stuff. I was always enough, and I was never too much. That's a whole other thing too, that I felt like too much. I just was, maybe I didn't fit the cup that he had. Like all of my pouring, it didn't fit his little cup that he had. All of me didn't fit there. Yep. And I did feel a lot of times like I was dimming my light, which is red flag like number 1,000. Is that I felt like I was dimming my light, constantly dimming my light, or feeling.
Have you ever been shushed before or told to lower your voice?
Oh, holy crap. Well,
that is like my pet fucking peeve.
If we want to talk about being Latinas, right? And you know how we are naturally
loud because there's so many of us in your family, so we all just have to talk over each other. Like I think we're just naturally.
Oh my God! If you meet my mother, she's the loudest woman in the room always.
She's so small.
She's so small, but she's so loud. And there's 9 of us, so I'm the second of 9 girls. So yeah, we're just loud. Like you said, I always have to be loud. And there was a few times in public settings where I was just being myself, laughing, and my ex would be like, "Why you gotta do that?" Yeah, kind of like bring me down in a way. And you know what? I accepted that. I didn't look at it as like a red flag in the moment, even though it would bother me. But that's why I'm saying, like, in the moment, nothing looks toxic. But now looking back, that is toxic.
That is so, and it's rude. You're telling someone, like, it's too much, like, change yourself. Yes. And you shouldn't have to want to change the person you're with. There is compromise. There is definitely, you learn from each other and you sort of pick up each other's things. But Marwan is never asking me, like, be this way or be like the Egyptians, be like whatever. Like, he knows who he came for. He knows what he was getting. Yeah. Of course, you're learning more, but on the surface, he knew what it was. And he's never told me be different.
And you know what? With that, it's like, because this is what I see with Kareem. They see you as your own person, and they're their own person, and they're like, well, she's her, and I'm me, and now we come together and we have this beautiful life. Versus like you feeling like you have to morph into something else, right. And them being offended by things that you say or things that you do. One of the biggest pieces of that I realized, like I'm in a healthy relationship, was that I felt like Kareem always just accepted who I was and just allowed me to be without being offended. I mean, him and I started dating when I was very much in the deep of my healing, like fresh out of separation. It was really, I was in a rough time, and he never felt offended by me being hurt or having to go through these emotions. He always was like, well, that's her experience right now. And what he knew, he would always say, he's like, I'm patient because I know that you're the one that I want. Like, just me as a person.
That is so beautiful.
He was, honestly,
I'm patient because I know you're the one that I want. That's a man, because boys don't say that. No. You don't hear that shit like when you're 20, 21, 22, 23. First of all, they don't even know what the fuck is going on. So I feel like the whole point of this also, before we even get into more of the depth, is anyone listening, if you're going through a breakup, going through a divorce, it's happening for you. This is a good thing. I know it doesn't feel that way. You probably feel like you gave it your all, the way Katie said, and you're just like, where did I go wrong? You didn't. No one leaves you who's not meant for you. Like, you're gonna find the person who makes you feel like the most ooeyest, gooeyest princess in the freaking world.
Facts. And as long as you're so committed to your healing and not putting blame on other people, and not putting blame on yourself, and just being committed to your healing, like, okay, what triggers me in a relationship? Like, why have I felt the need to go through someone's phone? Why have I felt the need to hack someone's email? You know, what were those things? Why are those insecurities happening? Figure that out.
Yeah.
And the person that's meant for you, they'll find you.
Yeah.
I can, like, almost guarantee you that. And what I do know too is, like, you can't give up on love. A lot of people ask me after my divorce was like, do you still believe in marriage? I always answered absolutely yes.
Yeah.
And
just because one person,
yeah.
like, there's so many people, there's billions and trillions of people in the world. You think this one person's gonna define everything?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I was like, yeah, I believe in marriage, because for me, I always knew what marriage was. Like, marriage to me hasn't changed.
Yeah.
I may have been with someone who had a different idea of marriage, and I always tell everyone, like, just make sure you're with someone who has the same idea of a relationship, of love, of what marriage looks like, monogamy, like, all of it. Because you know what, at the end, we all define those things. Like, you just define that on your own. What works for me and Kareem may not work for Talia and Marwan, but as long as it works for you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's what matters. You can't, like, compare relationships down to the nitty-gritties, because every relationship is different. And I have been asked, like, how did you do it? How did you find, like, how did you get this relationship? But truth be told, if you are bringing in your unhealthy bullshit, like, you need to really think about, what are you bringing to the table? If you're bringing the same insecurities, the same baggage, the same bullshit, like, you're not gonna attract what you're looking for. It makes no sense. It's like people being like, oh, I want a man who drives a Bugatti and, like, has a six-figure, and then you are, like, a manager at a dollar store. Like, that's okay, that's great for you, but how are you asking for more if you're not being more?
Yeah.
You can't expect to get the energy that you're not giving out in the world.
It's true. And just like that, it's like, if you're not in the right mindset to think, like, I'm here to find love, real love, and not sitting there and be like, men fucking suck. And it's easy to fall into that trap. Because I will say, like, after my divorce, men repulsed me. Because I just felt like, oh my God, like, I just don't think I could. I knew that I wanted marriage, but I felt like, I don't know if I can see a man and trust him again. And, you know, God works in mysterious ways, and brought Kareem with his, like, amazing sweet DM to, like, soften my heart a little bit in that way. And I knew him already, so that's a story for another day.
It was, like, a little easier.
Yeah, so it made it a little easier, because I'm like, okay, it's not this strange man hitting me up. But I did have to be open to it. I had to be open to healthy love. And I will say, when you are going from toxic love to healthy love, it's so hard to accept that healthy love.
Yeah, it's, like, too good to be true.
Your trauma, your PTSD does come out so much, where you're just like,
You're like, he's playing. He's running the game. There's no way this is real. Like, there's no way. And then the first sign of something, and it could really not even be that serious, but it just, like, triggers you, and you're like, you see anyway, and you just start spiraling for a second.
Oh my God.
And then you like gotta reel it back in. And it's okay in a healing journey. There's not linear. It's gonna be up and down. One moment you're like totally understandable, you can communicate. The next thing, something triggers a part of you that you forgot was there, and so now you're like freaking out. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it happens.
Yeah.
Because I know it happens. It happens, like, we can be so up and down. One moment I can communicate something so well to Marwan, and the next moment something different happens, and I forgot how to piece of me, and I'm just like, this is really annoying me. And then so we sit there and we figure it out. He'd be like, let's talk about it. Let's talk it out and figure out where it's stemming from.
And that's how you know you're in healthy love too, is where you can communicate about anything, the hard things that most of the times would make you nervous to bring up, to even just say.
It would turn into a fight, and it doesn't. It does not.
Oh my God, I remember in toxic relationships, my thing when I would get into a fight would be like, well, I'm just gonna leave. And
you just can't handle it. It's just too much. So I'm like, we're about to argue, like, yeah, I'm gonna leave.
But I would want to, like, I'd pretend to, like, pack my stuff. I'm like, I'm leaving.
Oh, like, you meant leave. Never mind.
No.
I thought you meant walk out the door.
No, I mean, like, literally leave. Like, I'm just like,
because you just want to feel wanted.
Yes.
You just want, and you're like,
I'm just like, is he gonna come?
Like, putting fake panties in there, like, hello.
Right, like, is he gonna tell me to stop? Is he gonna tell me to? And that was like one of the things that with Kareem I never felt, because he always said, you know what, let's just sit down, let's talk.
Yeah.
And I've learned now is like, you don't have to get loud, you don't have to get rowdy, because that's what I knew. I'm now like, let me just sit with my feelings for a second. Even if one thing that I feel like I've seen so much growth in myself in terms of just me and then in my relationship is that I'm able to, if like I'm annoyed by something, sit and be like, okay, what? Wait. Before I want to spaz out, because I genuinely like.
It's so easy to spaz out.
Oh my
and
God.
it feels good.
You just want to be like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, you want to be like, you stop it, because this is what you did. But really, no, they're just perceiving it differently. And like, that's another thing I had to.
Yeah.
When you live with someone, you're just like, they had a different upbringing. They have to like figure it out differently. So just.
Right.
Reel it in.
Just get a little woosah happening there. No, but it's been a really fun ride to go from toxic to healthy. And we hope that you guys listening to us now know that there's hope. Because my marriage wasn't my first toxic, encounter that I've had it. I had it like every single relationship prior, and in future episodes we'll get into more of that, because I think relationships were a really, really big part of my life growing up, and we could talk about why I always needed a boyfriend and all that stuff, but it was always toxic. I was a creature of my own habit, and then it really took me saying, all right, something has to change, because I don't want this, like you mentioned.
You decided that last relationship, you said there was other toxic relationships, but that last one was going to be the last one. There's no reason to keep going with this. I'm like, this does nothing for me. It would cause me crazy anxiety where and I felt like shit, like truly, like it just made me feel really bad. And that's what toxic love does to you, is like, it's intoxicating where you're like, oh my God, you're so in love. You think it's passion. Yeah. It's addictive because it feels so like high. The highs are highs and the lows are lows. But like, you just keep going crazy up and down.
You'll never get that even chill. That even chill that is high, because I feel like that's where we're at with our relationship, where it's like, it's chill, but it's high. We're not sitting here like,
I'm not bored.
Yeah.
I love him. I'm so like,
exactly.
I get so happy to see him. I'm like, how was your day? Like, even tell me the most boring thing of your day. Like,
yeah, and your best friends, truly.
Good. Yeah.
That's a really big part too. And yeah, we're happy that we found this.
Yeah.
But we want more people to know that you can too.
Yeah. And you can also heal. Like, you're going to be healing while you're in this relationship, but you need to make that active decision.
Yes. It's not about being healed. It's about being,
because you will never be
on
healed.
This healing journey.
Maybe when you're 85, you will be healed because you're just like, well, ain't shit else, right?
Right.
But right now, you're still learning.
Yeah, and just find a partner that wants to learn and grow with you. And that's what we have for you guys today.
First episode down.
We hope you guys loved it. Let us know your thoughts. Send us DMs,
comments, all of it.
Yes, love you guys.
Bye.
See you on the next one.